A possible game changer for your heart. Researchers are touting a new class of cholesterol-fighting drugs that could slash the risk of a heart attack or stroke by 50%. But questions remain. Here to explain, a cardiologist, Dr. Kevin Campbell. Dr. Kevin, welcome back to the show. So how do these things work, and how is it that they can reduce the chances of having a heart attack or stroke?
So this is a whole new class of drug, and it actually works by blocking a protein or an enzyme that handles cholesterol in our bodies. And it was discovered by happenstance. A family in Paris actually had really high levels of this protein and lots of early heart disease. They found another family that had undetectable levels of this protein and no heart disease. So the drug company started targeting this as a way to make a drug to lower cholesterol more significantly than statins.
So one of the downsides here is you can't take it orally. It's got to be injected. Won't that create problems for a lot of people?
I think it's going to be a challenge for some patients, but the injection is not an IV. It's subcuticular, just like you do
what does subcuticular mean? Oh, like an insulin shot.
Just like an insulin shot. So it's just under the skin. And the problem with anytime you have an injectable, it's very expensive. This may be between $7,000 and $12,000 per patient per year.
Wow.
So it's an incredibly expensive drug.
Goodness, are we going to be able to pay for this? I mean, at the end of the day, will insurers actually, okay people using this drug? Because surely we can't afford it on our own.
I don't think this drug's going to be for every patient, but for patients with terribly high cholesterols that we can't lower with standard statin therapy, I think that this may be a real game changer, like you said. In this study, it showed that we reduced events almost by 50%. The thing we have to remember is this study was done for safety and efficacy. We need more study with tens of thousands of patients.
Well, that brings up the question I was going to ask. Not that many people were tested for this, and I wonder about the results. We know that the number of heart attacks and strokes that occur every year, 1.5 million people. So lots of folks could get helped ultimately by this.
Exactly. What we think of, and I just returned from the American College of Cardiology meetings where this was presented in San Diego. This gives us another arrow in our quiver, another way to fight heart disease. And I think when these studies are done, and I think we'll have the data by 2017, could be a huge extra way to treat patients with really bad cholesterol problems.
Do you know what the side effects are?
What we've seen in these preliminary studies are minimal side effects, but they showed a little bit of memory loss, and that certainly can be a problem because a lot of patients in this demographic are older and may also suffer from some dementia and memory loss. So we want to be very careful about exploring that further.
Express Scripts is saying it costs $10,000 per patient. What's interesting about this, often when the drugs are super expensive, it's a small group of people who are actually affected, but there's a huge number of Americans who could ultimately use this. How will we square that circle?
I think that this is going to be an incredibly competitive market. There's 3 pharmaceutical companies, as you know, competing to be the first to market with this right now. You're talking about a multi-billion-dollar business just with this one drug.
Maybe they'll compete on price, too. Dr. Campbell, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Gerri.
And later in the show...